Well, let's start here. President Cyril Ramaphosa believes South Africans have tasted the fruits of freedom, despite many people saying there's not much to celebrate today. He addressed Freedom Day celebrations in Mpumalanga under the theme Consolidating Democratic Gains. He spelled out that since democracy in 1994, many more South Africans have access to water, electricity and a home. But he's also called on local and national governments to take a really firm stance against corruption. Our reporter Govan Whittles attended the commemoration in Middelburg today and joins us now. Hi, Govan. Thank you so much for joining us. So first of all, what did the President say about the achievements, the positive side of the past 28 years?
Well, the President did say that South Africa's rule of law remains intact, and he's taken stock of all the achievements made in the democratic dispensation, but also more specifically how the South African government since 1994 has improved the lives of South Africans. 80% of South Africans living in formal housing, 80% of them also have access to electricity, and 9 out of 10 people in South Africa have access to clean water. And the President says we should celebrate this, and he says the supremacy of the Constitution remains respected, and the integrity of the judiciary remains intact, and these are all achievements that they've made. But he's also acknowledged that there are a few problems. We'll get to those, but first let's listen to the President and what he had to say about our achievements.
Today in the province of Mpumalanga and across our beautiful land, the people have tasted the fruits of freedom. Despite the many challenges that we face today, challenges of unemployment, challenges of crime, challenges of gender-based violence, and many other challenges. Despite all those many challenges, our people have tasted the fruits of freedom. The quality of life of our citizens has improved from what it used to be under apartheid.
Govan, he then, as you say, did go into the problems that South Africa is facing, listing there, of course, crime, GBV, the massive unemployment problem. Of course, currently, our country is in a national state of disaster due to that horrific flooding and the awful deaths that happened in KwaZulu-Natal most particularly. What did he say about the current problems facing South Africa?
The President today framing these problems in context and saying that when South Africa is viewed as a nation that was striving to achieve the vision of 1994, it's clear that the country is off that track. And he says that South Africa has been taken off the track of achieving that vision by diversions, which include corruption and state capture, which is embedded in the government. But the President also saying that these are the things that South Africans are very tired of, and seeming to acknowledge that there is increased pressure on his administration to do something about this. Let's take a look now at what he had to say about corruption and how it's affecting our society.
As government at local and provincial and national level, we must consolidate our efforts to deliver on our promises to the people of South Africa by managing public resources properly and wisely, and by taking a firm stand and line against corruption. Our people are tired of corruption. They want municipalities that are going to work for them. They want municipalities that will provide good services. They want leaders who are not going to steal their money. They want leaders who will deploy the resources, the public resources, to provide good services. That is what you all want. Is that not so?
Interesting, Govan. Quite a similar message to the message he delivered in Parliament at that joint sitting of Parliament to address the KwaZulu-Natal floods. I'm wondering how ordinary people that you got a chance to speak to in Middelburg received his speech.
Mixed reactions to the speech and also mixed perception of the president arriving here in Middelburg to host the National Freedom Day celebrations. I spoke to a number of people from Middelburg, others had traveled from other areas in Mpumalanga, and some of them questioning whether or not they're free if they don't have the freedom to buy food when they need it, while they're seeing people with Mercedes-Benz driving around. And we compiled a short report of a few residents that we spoke to. Let's take a look.
Mr. Ramaphosa gave a very particular good speech. I'm impressed specifically because he took a staunch stance against corruption, the theft of resources, municipality or government-wise and so on. The fact that he mentioned the respect that for individuals, whether a government takes a decision, the courts can overrule that. I'm quite impressed.
What it touches the most is the fact that first it used to be blacks on site, white on site when it comes to grave site. But because of the freedom term, it gave us the freedom that we all now belong together. White and blacks we can bury on the same places.
And Govan, just bearing in mind that we are in a national state of disaster, and there were actually a lot of prayer services around the country for the many people who have died and had their lives destroyed in KwaZulu-Natal. We know that a lot of events were either cancelled or very much downgraded. Would you say that the tone was more somber compared to other Freedom Day celebrations in the past years?
There was an occasion where the president asked the people in attendance to stand up and observe a moment of silence for those who passed on during the floods in KwaZulu-Natal and those who were affected by it. But there was also a jovial atmosphere among some of the people there as they celebrated South Africa's birthday. A lot of performance as well, and that's only because the Freedom Day celebrations are now being held in person once again with a large audience after a long time, the first time since the COVID pandemic struck South Africa. So there was a mix of that, but of course the president observing some respect for those people affected by the floods.
Yeah, absolutely. Reporter Govan Whittles coming to us live in Middelburg in Mpumalanga on the President's Freedom Day message. Thank you very much. And a little bit later in the program, we are actually going to catch up with what is happening on the ground in KwaZulu-Natal.